Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you love to watch more cheating stories. If you want to know how to get back your ex-girlfriend and boyfriend, click the link below.
I snooped on my hubby, and now I can't disguise my displeasure with what I discovered. TLDR. Throughout our 10-year relationship, I've uncovered several dubious flirting texts, suggestive comments, and inappropriate behavior on my husband's part. Is it possible that I'm exaggerating, or does this type of behavior eventually lead to infidelity, and if so, how should I address him? Background. My hubby, 33 meters, and I have been together for around 10 years. We met and dated for a few months in 2009 before breaking up for a few years, primarily because he was in an on-again, off-again relationship with another girl. We rejoined in 2012 and have been together ever since, but I've never been able to get over the nagging fear that he'll cheat on me because he was so promiscuous and disloyal when we first met. Current situation. I've grown suspicious throughout the years, and for a few weeks at a time, I'll become concentrated on verifying my concerns. I've never found concrete evidence of infidelity. The worst I found early on were a few flirtatious or inappropriate text conversations with other ladies. One conversation discussed pubic hair sex preferences. Another involved him reaching out to a female he met at an auto store and inviting her to hang out at a car event, and so on. When I challenged him about them, he told me that these were harmless, platonic encounters. I've recently observed some interesting activity on Instagram, particularly between him and two specific women, one of whom he knows through the car community and the other through his cousin. For the past few months, they've liked every one of each other's postings, and something about it feels wrong to me. I realize I'm probably reading too much into it, but what concerns me is that they've abruptly stopped liking each other's postings, which coincides with a little event that occurred on Monday, March 14th. My husband and I were driving in the car, and I had put on a Bright Eyes song that began with the following lyrics. The mistress was forgiven by the wife because she was simply there to entertain. When she cleared her throat to say her name, the ache vanished. Both of us must be suffering from the same continuous anguish, he said. When I played that song, I had no underlying goals. It was simply a coincidence that it came on, and it happens to be one of my favorites, so I let it play. My husband says to me around midway through the following lyric, I don't mind if you blast your music, but I don't want to listen to this stuff, and turns down the level. I know he's not a big fan of Bright Eyes, but I can't help but think he mistook my lyrics for a passive-aggressive confrontation. What he said wounded me a lot. Music is very important to me, and B is one of my favorite bands, and we spent the remainder of the night quietly fuming at each other. So, as I was stalking him on Instagram and keeping track of his likes throughout the next week, I realized that he and the two women hadn't liked any of each other's posts since that Monday in the car. I'm confident it's connected and that he either kept his postings hidden from them or urged them to chill on the instances. In addition, I've had other dreams in which I confront him, and we both look through his messages together, seeing all the ladies he's chatting to behind my back. Even though I understand that dreams are representations of our subconscious mind, my anxiety is mounting. So fast forward to this past weekend. He's out of town for a car show, and I use the time to sift through texts on some of his old phones stashed in a drawer. I understand that this is a tremendous violation of privacy, and I admit that I have done it before and am ashamed of myself. I can't help myself. I lack faith in him, and I know he'll never admit to anything unless it's outright deception, i.e., sex. I didn't find any messages with women, but I found disturbing conversations between him and a few of his close friends, which made me feel uneasy and sad. He mostly made comments about the bodies of random ladies he met, such as some sassy Asian lady. Dat booty dough. She wears yoga pants to work as well. A coworker who is my cousin's babe. Two sultry gothic babes with a newborn. Without a doubt, I would have been its stepfather. This one kills me because he hates kids and is not shy about that fact. These comments may appear little, yet they caught me completely off a surprise. As a result, I know I was distant and chilly with him when he returned from his trip this weekend. I can't believe he's making comments about women he encounters. I thought he was more mature than that, but I'm starting to realize he's just like any other cis male out there, with no regard for women, including his wife. Where do I go from here, is my question. Am I being paranoid, overreacting? I'm desperate to see what he's been up to recently and see what his DMs look like because the texts I unearthed are from over 3 years ago. I'm considering asking him flat out to look at his phone. Still, I know this will lead to a huge argument, and at this point, I just don't know how to feel about anything anymore. I miss the guy he used to be, or at least the person I imagined he was, and I don't see things going well, which hurts my heart. Edit 3/31. Okay, I've realized that Instagram misled me about the sudden absence of likes from some people on my husband's post since the car accident. Evidently, after a certain number of likes, Instagram won't reveal the full list of people who genuinely liked a post, at least not in mobile view. I had to use a PC to browse through the complete list of individuals who liked it, and it turns out the two women have continued to interact on the majority of his recent postings. I'm relieved and deceived, but I still feel that there's some DM action on my part that I haven't discovered yet because I haven't asked to see his phone. Another story of cheating. When I was 7 months pregnant, my husband cheated on me. We've been together since we were 15 years old. We've only had sexual contact with one other individual and haven't had the opportunity to experience a single life or stage. After high school, he joined the military, and we married at 21. We are now 26 years old, with a son and a house. We've always gotten along swimmingly and have always done everything together. We've always had a terrific sex life, which we'd spice up in various ways. Last year, when I was 7 months pregnant, I discovered he had cheated on me and had been talking to several people on multiple apps for years. Almost our entire 5-year marriage. I found the messages between him and a girl he works with on Snapchat. He took a day off from work and drove 2 hours to have sex with her. He acknowledged having intercourse with her twice that day and even went inside her. I haven't been the same since I discovered these facts. Our son is now 7 months old, and I'm still learning how to be a mother while still feeling like I'm married to a stranger. He's been trying his hardest to be a great spouse because he doesn't want to lose me, but I don't think I'll ever be happy or feel the same with him. I'm filled with sadness, betrayal, and anguish. What suggestions do you have for me? Is it appropriate for me to stay now that we have a son? Will he genuinely change as he promised? I'll never be able to look at him the same way again. Here is the greatest advice for this wonderful article that I gathered. You should leave since you are still young and can rebuild your life with someone else. Similar to how I grew up with my mother's resentment of my father. She was with him until I was about 10 years old, and then they split up. They used to fight a lot, and I was always stuck in the middle as the oldest. My childhood was a nightmare for me. My mother would struggle for my father to visit us since he refused to come over, but eventually, she and he gave up. I'll give him credit for being financially responsible. But he was always and still is on those dating apps. My mother despises him, and the resentment is so great that I wouldn't say I like it when he comes to visit because it makes it so difficult for me to manage them. My father claims that he never knows what he did wrong, and my mother can't stand him and will find anything to complain about. Just leave to be truthful. For the sake of your children, you might end up like me. It would be best if you got out of here, girl. With his poor choices, he jeopardized your and your child's health. It's not too late to flee to the hills and achieve true bliss. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Please tell me what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and press the notification button. Keep an eye out for more cheating stories.